Okay, I'm back. Let me turn this camera down a little bit. My first coat of plaster has pretty much set up. It's fairly hard, still damp, but hard. Don't try to take this off yet. We're going to put another substantial amount of plaster on top of this, and then we're going to let it set up. So again, I'm going to put a little bit of salt in this water, table salt. Don't try to use rock salt. Stir it up real good. Found my stirring spoon. I'm going to start putting in plaster of Paris into this once again. This time I'm going to make it thicker and a little bit heavier. I'm going to be using the same container. I've got what was left over out of it mostly. However, there was some plaster on the walls of the container. And that's another thing that will cause your plaster to kick real quick, is a container that's got plaster in it that's starting to set up. It will create it or cause it to kick off a whole lot faster once again. Now, this may be a little bit too thick. I don't know. If it is, I'll add water to it. There's another rule of thumb. Yeah, that's too much. To mixing plaster is always put plaster into water and never water into plaster. Although in this case, I'm going to have to, because I really got too much plaster in here this time. You have to really play with this stuff in order for it to, get it away or get used to using this stuff, this plaster Paris. I buy my plaster Paris from my local hardware like Lowe's and Home Depot. Instead of ordering it through suppliers, I think it's a waste. There's all kinds of plaster on the market. I would use this for the past 30 some years, 40 years or so, and it's always done what I want it to do. And so anyway, I've got this stirred up real good. I'm going to start spooning this out onto my piece. Let's not forget to put you down into the works of things. There you go. And I'm just going to start spooning this on. If you want to use your hand, that's fine. Just put your good layer on here. Now remember, we got Vaseline on this dog's face. That's going to help you release this out of this plaster. Now, again, don't forget to put that Vaseline or some kind of a release on your animal, because if you don't, you're going to find out real quick that you messed up and probably will damage your piece. So again, make sure you put a good coat of a release of some sort, whether it's mud or whether it's Vaseline, dishwashing detergent, something of that nature. Now, you can use this method on anything, like I said earlier. This works great on foxes and coons and whatever. The reason why I'm showing you guys how to do this, my audience, is because a lot of taxidermists nowadays are getting away, especially you new ones, don't understand what taxidermy is about, not ordering everything and snapping it together. That's the big myth, and I really see a lot of people getting their apple cart upset because they thought it was one thing, and I show them it's a totally different ball game. We're going to let this set up now. We'll be back. Now, this plaster has set up. It took it about, I don't know, 6 or 7 minutes, maybe a little bit longer. I'm going to go ahead and take this off. I'll tell you the reason why. I don't like for this to sit on the animal's head no longer than than it needs to, or let it have to. Reason why this stuff heats up, it could damage your skin on your animal. You don't want to mess up this fella's pet's head, causing slippage or anything. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to gently take this and I'm just going to work it off, just going around the edges and start pulling things loose a little bit. And this may just slide right out, or then again you may have to use a little bit of force. I hope you can see this. I am just going to gently start pulling and working it, using some finesse. Don't be in a hurry, or because you can really mess it up. And it's coming loose, and it's coming out really nice. Okay, you can see how the dog's hair roughed up, so to speak, or pulled up, but we didn't have any hair or very little hair to come out in the mold. So if you look at inside the mold, you can see the nostrils and the lip line and the muzzle. It looks really cool, really good. So what we're going to do is I'm going to pour some Bondo in this one and make a Bondo cast of it right quick. Now, as you can see, the little dog's hair and everything looks messed up a little bit. I'm going to take a rag and just get some of this Vaseline out of it. It's not a lot of it goes left in the mold. So if you're concerned about this, don't be. Again, you can wash this hide out in a solvent once you get them skint, and this Vaseline will come right out. Now, first things first, I'm going to split this particular mold, because one thing, if I don't like this method of using fiberglass and Bondo, we can pull this thing apart once we get the interior or the cast made. Instead of having to take a hammer and bust this off of my cast, I'm going to split this so that I can pull it apart in 2 halves, and then if I don't like what I've got, I can use some other method. I can use urethane foam to pour in it. I can pour even some more plaster in it if I want to, you know. This way I can kind of pull things apart. And when I get ready to cast it, all I got to do is tape it back together. So I'm just going to take a keyhole saw or a sheetrock saw. You can take any kind of saw really, as far as the a hand saw. You know, carpenter's hand saw will work. So this plaster is still wet on the inside but solid. And so take your time on doing this, because you spent, you know, some time and some money on this, and just take your time on splitting this thing. I have done this method, I don't know how many times, lots and lots of times, so take your time. Okay, I've got my mold, a head mold cut in 2. You can see inside of it, that looks pretty good. See that distinctive line on it. I'm going to have to do a little critiquing on it, not much. And what I've got after I cut it in 2 is 2 halves. This will help you in fixing, you know, getting some of the rough spots out of it. If you wish to take a piece of sandpaper and sand it down and smooth it up some, that'll be great. Try to locate your eye if you can. The eye on this dog is right here. Just a slight impression. And right here's the other one. Well, right here, excuse me. and try to avoid that so you can, you know, use it. But as far as the fur line and everything, you can take a knife and scrape this down and some sandpaper and work it over. Smooth it out a little bit more. That'll help you some. You may have a few little undercuts in this area, so you want to smooth them down. Also locate the mouth. The mouth was right here. You can just barely see it right here in the lip line, and that will, you can enhance that so whenever you place your skin back on, that you'll find a place to tuck your skin back into. Right here it is right there. So like I said, you can use this method on about anything. I mean, I've used it for dogs and cats and foxes and squirrels, and although there's even more simpler methods of making a head cast, but this works great for something like this. So we're going to show you in the next video on how to make the head, and meanwhile I'm going to be skinning my animal and getting him prepared for being tanned and preparing the skin. Then probably our next video is showing you how to cut out the form and then putting it together. Watch for Mounting a Pet, Part 4, Carving the Form. We'll see you next time.